Welcome back now. This is still the Polity, and we're reaching you live from the Abuja studios of Kaftan TV. Joining me now to do justice to some of the issues making the rounds is Dr. John Uwa, a lecturer at Mountain Top University, a socio-political commentator, critic, and also a writer. You're welcome to the program, Doctor.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the program.
It's good to have you on the program today.
Thank you.
So just for the sake of our time, Doctor, a lot seems to be going on in Delta State recently. Can you, bring us up to speed as regards what is going on at the moment?
Yeah, well, a lot is going on in Delta State. Delta State is preparing for elections, local government elections, but on the front burner is the Okwama crisis that is staring us in the face like the Abiku motif, something that has refused to go away. The Okwama crisis, like you're aware, was when has to do with the killing of 17 military officers and the reprisal attack on the sacking of the entire community as a result of that killing, and how the military has after being pressurized and do media publicity and some other political maneuverings at this backstage. The army finally left Okwama, and when they left, it opened another phase in the struggle, existential struggle of the Okwama people, because upon their return, they discovered that members from another community, Okubene community, came to loot their property, and that's resulted in another round of squabble and fight that took one life and got two other persons injured. And beside that, the government of Delta State has claimed that it played a very important role in the final exit of the military, and also decided to set up an IDP camp for the Okwama, displaced Okwama people who had spent weeks and months in the forest after the sacking and the destruction of their community. And the governor, in his wisdom, set up a committee and said we should go to the IDP camp. So set the committee to set up IDP camp and then invite the people to come to the IDP camp at Ewu. But the people are also, the Okama people are refusing to go to that IDP camp, and that is making the government and its official very uncomfortable and thinking that perceiving the Okama people as ingrates, after they have made this effort to relocate and resettle them in the interim as a palliative measure, rather than being appreciative, they are actually objecting and opposing to that government initiative. While it is a welcome initiative by the government, some of us hold a different point of view, considering after looking very deeply, analyzing the Okwama experiences that would have informed, from my point of view as a critic, when people say certain things, I don't like to look at what they say. I like to look at the motive, why they have said it. There are some underlying intrigues, fears, and questions of trust that would actually manifest in our outward behavior or utterance. So I like to look at the inward aspects, motivations behind the refusal of the Okoma people to accept the government initiative of settling them in a community other than their community as a relative. To that extent, I don't want to see them as ungrateful, or I like to see them as people who are dealing with trust, people who have been battered, people who have had to be betrayed, people who have tried to defend themselves for years without external help, and suddenly they see themselves as endangered species, and their ancestral home is dear to them, because one of the fears is that they are going to be sacked. In fact, they have been posted to by more powerful members of other communities that there will be no Okwama. So when military took over their community, they thought it was a manifestation of that threat.
All right,
And
now,
so
Doctor,
when
I'd like to hold you on for a second because you've made quite a number of submissions this afternoon. But I want us to talk about the fact, I want us to talk about the IDP camp and the resettlement you talked about. Now, since the military has been pulled out of Okwama, what's the need for the IDP camp again? Why can't the Okwama people, why can't they just return to their village? And this issue at hand now, a lot of people have tried to insinuate that, you know, it's the handiwork of oil bunkers, that Okwama as a village plays a central role in their oil bunkering activities. Are these oil bunkers, they are not faceless? Who are they? You have an idea of who they are? I want you to, you know, respond to these two questions together because of our time.
Well, the first question is why should the IDP camp be settled, should be located in a place other than Okwama, since the military are no longer there. One, from reports we got from the government officials and the government itself, for logistic reasons, it is not safe for the personnel of government agency to access Okwama for security reasons at this point, and therefore the best place for them, for their own safety and for the safety of the Okwama people for now, is to be at Ewu, which is because you have to cross river to get to Okwama. But the Okwama people are saying no, that we want they want the IDP camp to be at Okwama. So I see both points of view are valid. The government agency have a valid point of view, and the Okwama people who are saying no, we're not going there, also have a valid point of view. The government agency are looking at the logistic and the safety of their personnel, while the Okwama people are looking at the sentimental and ancestral attachment they have for their Akoma land and the fear that their land will be taken away from them. As I said earlier, we are dealing with the people who, like the ancient Israelis that were taken to Babylonian captivities and were asked to sing the Jewish spirituals at the rivers of Jordan. These people were traumatized that how can we sing the lost song in a strange land? And so that is the dilemma, in my thinking, the Okoma people are facing, to say that why should we leave our ancestral home now that it is free for us? So that it's two sides. So the government should find a middle ground in a way that they would try to see if they can resettle some of these people at their ancestral land to douse the fear that nobody is going to take their land. But if you continue to take hard posture, a very strong position, and begin to see them as ungrateful people, you are going to miss the point of what these people are fighting for. Now, as for the idea of bunkering, yes, bunkers are not faceless. They are not faceless, and we can see the Nigerian situation too. You see corruption. You can actually point to people who are corrupt, but there's this abracadabra motive. The more you look, the less you see. These people have direct connection with government. They are protected. They are well-placed people, and of course, we have always said that the military cannot totally absorb itself from the bunkering activities in Delta State. Yes, we've had situations where army have gone to bust bunker activities in Delta State, and we have also had reports where armies are engaged in bunkering activities. So yes, Okoma is strategically located for bunkering activities, and the people are there know people who are engaged in bunkering, and some of them have said the military are involved in it too. Well, we are yet to prove that, but of course, there's no smoke without fire. So it's we are just pretending to say we don't know. I cannot point finger specifically because I'm not the security agent to begin to point. But if the security agent really want to do their job, they know those who are engaged in bunkering that are causing this trouble. In fact, I can tell you for free that, of course, you know Tom Polo is involved in pipeline, the protection of the pipeline in Niger Delta. And, yes. the Tantita
With the Tantita
enterprise.
Security Agency?
Yes, one of his the personnel officers who is from Okoloba has threatened as because he has the power. He has told them in the past that they were going to make sure that they sack Okwama, and so he has made this threat. And so you can understand why the Okwama people are afraid, are careful, are conscious, are very sensitive to issues of relocating them uh, to to uh, to the IDP camp at Ewu. So, like the case of corruption in Nigeria, you see government officials who are corrupt, but these people are protected by the law somehow. They are not. They have this protection, and you see people who embezzle money. We see them, but it's difficult to go after the EFCC choose those that they will go after. By the same token, in military, we know that bunker activity is going on there. But I also think that the way the anti-graft agency is going about with hunting, the military is also following that same pattern. That people who engage in bunker trade for free, unhindered, while there are some who are the military and other security agency we go after. So we want a balanced crackdown on all these activities. You don't go after the defenseless or those who can be used as political talk during election campaign and you protect them. So these are the intrigues and the activities going on in the oil bunker trade and the ECOWA experience.
All right, you talked about the Delta State government a whole lot of times, and you talked about the fact that these oil bunkers are connected to the government. But I want us to take it back home to Delta State right now. You know, what is your general outlook on the reaction of the Delta State governor on this very issue? As at this point, are you impressed so far with the measures he has taken to resolve the issue and find a lasting solution to the conflicts and the continuous bloodshed? Also, I want to add to the question, when the military were withdrawn from Okwama, what led to the bloodshed again? What led to the bloodshed again? Because before they were withdrawn from Okwama, the idea was that the military was killing people. The military had laid a siege on Okwama. Now the military are gone. What happened again?
Okay, now one of the issues that we were raising was that why the occupation. They didn't quite tell us why they occupied Okwama for so long. And in the process, when they left, we discovered that the report that came from their Vanguard newspaper was that about 100 persons have been killed with names, not just speculation, but these names were mentioned. I think the last time I mentioned about 5, I gave 5 of those names. So that names that we can try to verify. Now, whether the government is proactive is another thing that is open to mute. The governor has come out to say that they set up the IDP camp, and they have also claimed that they worked on the ground to see that the military removed from Okwama. But I, as a critic, I thought that that action is something that should have happened a long time. The governor, in my thinking, was trying to be politically correct and therefore wasted too much time and allowed us to begin to see him as complacent and slow. So I thought he was not proactive. At the heat of the crisis, we felt our governor should be in front of us fighting and shouting in a way that the world will know that his people are being oppressed. But we didn't quite see that, even though the government have come out to say they were working on the ground. But the fact that our governor was denied entry, as a chief security officer, was denied entry into Okwama because of military operation, is something that I find very disturbing, that the governor could not access Okwama at the heat of the crisis. And it took about 2 months for the government to actually now set up the IDP camp. People have come out to say that they lost their children in the forest, they lost their mothers in the forest, they lost their husbands and everything in the forest. So I thought that in measure, while we welcome the governor's initiative to resettle the people, we thought that in the future the governor can be more proactive, that is more decisive in the taking action and also ensuring that he takes on the military. Well, Wike is somebody that I don't admire, but I know that in his tenure, the thing like that cannot happen. He would have shouted to high heavens to ensure that his people are not killed. A hundred person killed for two measures that are extrajudicial is something that every right-thinking person should question. While we are condemning the killing of 17 officers, we should also, in very clear language, condemn the killing of 100 persons if that is discovered to be true. So basically, I thought that the governor and the government of Delta State would have done more. However, welcome the idea of an IDP camp, and I thought the government should engage in more publicity to convince the Okwama people on why they should come to EU, so that they will find a way to resettle them properly and Okuma, to douse their fear rather than condemning them. This is not the time to condemn those who are bereaved, those who are mourning, those who are traumatized. If you see somebody who is traumatized, you don't pass judgment, you advise, tell the person to go and see a psychotherapist. You don't say a man is behaving somehow, for that reason you begin to antagonize, you need to know why the person is behaving that way. That is the way you can show you are different. So by antagonizing, you are not providing any different approach. You are not showing that you are different. So what to do is to try to meet the leadership of the Okwama people, win their trust, and then convince them to come to Okoloba, Ewu IDP camp. Alternatively, the government can also set up the IDP camp at Okwama, put up a police station there, put a medical team there, can put the NYC about somebody who made a suggestion. And you can set up a medical, a cottage clinic there, put water, drill boreholes, put tents and canopy. That is where these people want to be. They make it a little bit habitable for them, put a little security there, and I mean the agency can work from EU, where the main headquarters, the main IDP camp is. While you also have one at Okoloba, at Okwama, to ensure that these people, to win the trust. Once you win the trust of the people, then you can tell them what to do and they will follow. Abraham provided quality leadership, provided trust. That was why his son Isaac followed him to be sacrificed, and that was why Sarah also followed him. So the government should provide trust, and I think the Okoma people will follow. That is what is lacking now.
So talking about trust now, should the government be able to win the trust of Okwama people? You know, are we likely to see a situation whereby the Okwama residents will be relocated to another settlement? Are we likely to find ourselves in such scenarios as we round up this segment of the program?
No, I don't think the governor's intention is to actually permanently resettle the Okwama people elsewhere, but it's just a temporary measure so that they can be safe, they can be brought up from the bushes and be kept in a safe place. While they are thinking on how to redevelop the place to an habitable stage and provide the necessary.
Because the reason why we're asking right now, you know, we've seen some places in Nigeria whereby some residents have been at IDP camps for 5 years, 6 years. But on this very one now, for how long are we looking at for how long are we looking at? Can you hear me, doctor?
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay. Now, these temporary measures now, for how long are we looking at? Because we've seen situations in Nigeria whereby victims of banditry, terrorism, flood have been forgotten at IDP camps for 5 years, 6 years, 4 years, 3 years. How long are we looking at on this very issue?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now you see why the people are skeptical, why the people are sensitive about going elsewhere. The government should come and tell them how long they want to be in these places. You want to win their trust, tell them we're going to keep you here for 2 months. After 2 months, we are going to set up a proper IDP camp on your location, on your place. Then these people you can now win their trust to go to AU to stay. And after a month or two, you begin to use that period to set up a proper IDP camp in their place. And they don't go and stay in AU for years. Because once that happens, their land will be encroached, because they're having land dispute with the Koloba community. So if you are not there to protect your land, somebody will encroach on you and nothing will happen. By the time you return, you have been overtaken by time. Ashebe said that we often stand at the house of a lazy man, pointing to the ruins of the house of a strong man. So the strong man is gone. What we see in his place is ruins. So it's I think the Okoma people have a legitimate right to be skeptical, to have issues of trust. They have a right, and this is a right we should respect. Anybody who cares about Okwama should respect this skepticism, because it is not unfounded. It is based on what they have experienced in the past and the threat that have been existential threats against them. So we should look at it from that perspective and tell them that we'll set up the IDP camp at Ewu for 2 or 3 months. Within that period, we'll set up a proper IDP camp at Okwama with all the necessary amenities to make the place habitable, while they seek reparation in court, or why the government in its wisdom begin to rebuild the place. Yesterday Okwama is gone, and today we should start rebuilding Okwama. That's my thinking.
All right, now, Doctor, before we leave this very topic and talk about the rift between the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, and the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, I want you to send a message to all the relevant stakeholders trying to bring a sustainable solution to the issues in Okwama at the moment. For 30 seconds.
Take that question again.
Hello, Doctor, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Doctor, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Doctor,
yes,
can you hear me?
Okay. Can you take that question again, please?
Okay, I was saying, I want you in 30 seconds to send a message to all the relevant stakeholders, working assiduously to bring a sustainable solution to the land dispute that has sacked residents of Okwama from their community. In 30 seconds.
Yes, I think the government should set up a bit of justice in the state at this point. Should set up a boundary committee made up of stakeholders or people who will be ready to make compromise. Because in dispute resolution, you must be ready to make compromise. Bring the authorities, the stakeholders, critical stakeholders of two parties, the two communities together, and then let them agree on a boundary. If there's a need to make compromise, they make the compromise and they define the boundaries. If you do that from a very sincere point of view, then there will be lasting solution. However, if you decide to follow the more influential people, then you are actually postponing the doom. So if the governor wants to be remembered, then he should do the right thing by consulting with the critical stakeholders, set up a committee, land boundary committee, with the critical stakeholders from both communities involved, so that they can together define the boundaries that will bring lasting peace. These are part of the measures for peace dispute resolution that the governor should employ.
All right, thank you so much. And as we go to other issues now, I want us to discuss on the rift between the governor of Rivers State and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, who's now the minister of the FCT. What's your general outlook on the rift between the both parties at the moment?
Well, I think that Wike as you know, not just on the governor is, so I can see his penis. That he has a penis like every other human. Is a very small one. So he has made himself bigger than he is. To those God loves, those God wants to kill. The madman ready because he's not understanding the science. He's not playing a role. He's not playing smart. He's not being political. By shifting grounds, he will be saving himself some shame, saving his name, his face. But he's not embarking on a face-saving mission, but rather a self-destructive mission by fighting a sitting governor who has all the powers to invoke the law. SIM has said that he's going to revisit the state government or financial operation in the last 8 years. If everybody go into a battle knowing what exactly will happen, because even the mighty man will bleed in battle. Russia is bleeding now, in spite of his power and everything. He's bleeding because they miscalculate. When you go into a battle and then you look at your strength, your power, and then you undermine the determination of your opponent to survive, then you are miscalculating. That's what Wike means. He has put the governor in an open ocean without life vest and everything, and God would have to fight to survive. So this is about survival, and the governor would have to use all.
All right, doctor, can you hear me? Hello, doctor, are you there?
I hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, what do you have to say about, the recent reports of the governor trying to probe the 8 years administration led by his own predecessor, Nyesom Wike, an administration that had him as an auditor general? Is it possible to actually separate the spendings of that administration from separate himself as an auditor general from the actual spendings of that administration? Do you see this as him trying to be, get back at his former principal, or just trying to be politically ahead of his, former Oga, the way he usually puts it?
Well, when you declare war on somebody, the person would have to use everything available to him to undo you. Yes, the man he was the one covering the dirty financial appropriation or misappropriation of the governor. So he knows what he's saying when he said he's going to probe. In fact, he took bullet for Wike at some point when he was picked by EFCC. When they couldn't get at Wike, they came for him, and somehow he knows how he covered the track well. Now he's going to open the can of worms if Wike does not sheath his sword. And I bet you, Wike is going to be at the losing end, because I begin to come out to say that those beautiful projects that Wike executed, the flyovers was executing day in, day out during just before the election, that he hasn't paid the contractors. Well, the impression we had was that he paid everything in full. But now we are being told that they are not being paid, that the state is in debt. So if River State is in debt, that was not the impression we have. It means the governor knows what he's doing. The earlier Wike goes for settlement, the better for him, because he's not going to come out of this battle on us.
But
if he will even win the battle.
You just noted now that the earlier Wike, goes for settlements, the better for him. But the sitting governor at the moment now, he has said at this point now, it's already too late for any for peace to be brokered between both parties. To what end do you think this will be?
Well, you see, the government made a very clear statement that if a man points a gun at you, then he pulls the trigger. Then for some reason, the bullet did not discharge because the gun is still on a safety mode. Know that that man is prepared to kill you. You are just being lucky. What you do if you have the opportunity is to fight, bury that man and fight. That is what the government message. So when the president hoisted the olive branch and called for peace, they have embraced it. But Wike is only he wants to be smarter than his shadow. He's only wise in his own eyes. Rather than fully and sincerely embracing that peace accord which the president struck, which was also in his favor, he went on, started masterminding because he sees himself as a chief strategist and forgets that other people can also strategize. When your knowledge ends, there that starts. The governor is coming out that there's no going back anymore. So he gave the opportunity for peace. He knows now that there's no way he will please Wike. The only way out is to fight and fight dirty. So let's see how it goes. Who comes out of this? Well, I believe that Wike is inching more and more with this battle towards political oblivion.
All right, now, because our time is fast spent now, you know, they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers the consequences. At the end of the day now, if we take a look at it, if we take a look at the conflict between both Wike and Governor Fubara at the moment, it's seriously impacting on the focus of the Governor Fubara to deliver the dividends of democracy, the reason for which the good people of Rivers State voted him into power. What are your thoughts on this?
That is, in what situation the innocent will suffer with the rest of the guilty. If fighting Wike to amounts to redeeming the river people from the clutches, from the stranglehold of dictatorship, from exploitative political leader, from godfatherism, then it is worth it. The fight is worth it. It means that at the end of if the governor is not able to deliver materially and physically, at least getting Wike out of the way will be victory for the people of Rivers State. So it's a fight that is worthy. You should go ahead and fight, or bow out as a coward.
If what exactly do you mean by if he's able to get Wike out of the way, it's victory for the people? Getting Wike out of the way does not amount to good roads, does not amount to security, does not amount to potable water, does not amount to affordable cost of living for the people of Rivers State.
Yeah, by getting Wike out of the way, I mean Wike has turned himself into a demigod. Is in the will of progress of the states. By making
Dr. Aida, can you hear me? Hello, doctor. Are you there? The network seems to be glitching this afternoon. We think we just give the Dr. John Uwa, another 5 seconds to see if he can reconnect, and if he can't, it will be time for us to call it a day. Doctor, can you hear me? Doctor, can you hear me? All right, now, the network doesn't seem to be in good condition from Dr. John Uwa's end of the conversation today, and that'll be all from this end of our program today. It has been Dr. John Uwa, a socio-political commentator, a political analyst, a critic, and also a writer. He's a lecturer at the Mountaintop University. He has given us his insights on the recent Okwama killings and also the rift between the Rivers State governor and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike. And that'll be all from our program today. Do all to join us again, same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Francis Adeniyi.